And welcome back to the Showroom Presents. You know, today most Americans, and especially New Yorkers, are at least somewhat worried that new regulations proposed by the EPA to remove coal-powered electricity from the nation's energy mix will lead to higher prices for consumers. Talking about this issue now is President and CEO of the National Mining Association, Hal Quinn. Welcome to the Showroom Presents.
Thank you, Rick. It's good to be with you.
Thank you, Hal. So tell us a little bit about this new source performance standard proposed by the EPA.
Well, Rick, what EPA is doing is they're setting a target for the power sector to lower emissions of carbon dioxide by 2030. And the target is about 30%. It's pretty aggressive, particularly in the early years. We've reduced our carbon dioxide emissions quite substantially since 2005 already. But we're at a point where there's not going to be a lot more that can be pushed out of the system without causing a couple issues, mainly tremendously higher power costs for homeowners and businesses, and also testing the reliability of the system and bringing it close to the edge like it was this past winter.
So, I mean, should we be concerned about these new regulations, or?
Well, if you're concerned about the cost of your electricity, your power bill, if you're concerned about the competitiveness of the business that you work for or that you own, yes, you should be concerned, because we can get lower emissions on a more balanced approach.
Okay.
This particular proposal, though, won't make any difference when it comes to climate change, which is what they're saying it's being done for. But it will make, so there will be at best a symbolic gesture, but a very expensive one at that.
Are you anticipating, when the grid's taxed as it is, do you anticipate, excessive blackouts? We know higher energy costs are certainly a potential then.
Well, I think higher energy costs are a certainty. Blackouts or brownouts, I don't want to say that is anywhere near a certainty. Is it a possibility? Absolutely. As we're taking more reliable sources, baseload power plants out of the system, the ones that provide 40% of the electricity across the country, and in some states it will supply anywhere from 65 to 95%, then yes, you're going to tax the system with other sources that aren't going to be maybe prepared to replace the coal power that's coming offline if we have weather in the winter or the summer that's going to call upon baseload power more than it has in the year before. And we saw that this past winter, where a number of areas where there are low reserve margins had difficulty getting the power in time to keep it in continuous supply. We certainly saw that in their utility bills this past winter.
Boy, you're not kidding. And I think too, it seems like our summers in the Northeast here have gotten warmer, more humid. So the demand for air conditioning, I think, has really increased. And I said, I was thinking about it a little bit earlier. If you have an older home and 4-bedroom home, and you're having window air conditioners and all these things, you're drawing a lot more than you might with central air. But let me ask you this question here: how will this affect coal industry employees?
Well, if we're shutting down more coal plants, we're certainly going to be losing coal miners. So if I shut down, if these rules shut down, let's say a single coal plant, and we'll shut down more than that, an average size, 500, 600 megawatt coal plant, then we're talking about 800 permanent jobs, both at the plant and at the coal mines and the railroads. And if I have to replace that with a natural gas, a plant, you're only making up 300 of those workers. So that's a big gap in terms of a net loss in terms of employment. But what I would say, though, is when any coal miner loses his or her job, they're not the only one losing. I think all Americans lose, because that means there's going to be less low-cost electricity and reliable electricity on the marketplace.
So what would you say to those who support the regulations as a step toward clean energy?
Well, here's what we can do. We can have a balanced approach, one that we've advanced in the past. We hope EPA will again reconsider, which is, one, let's reconsider the rule they put out last year that basically said, if you want to build a new coal plant, you only can use unproven technology, because we set the standard so strict. We have existing high efficiency technology that if we're allowed to build these plants today, we can get 25 to 30% reductions in emissions over the plants they would replace, the older coal plants they would replace.
Wow.
And
so that's almost balancing it out.
Almost, and that's where their EPA's policies aren't really in sync. They have, on one hand, they're talking about efficiency to meet their targets, but they're not allowing us to build the very plants that would be more efficient, and they're limiting the options to all American businesses and consumers about what electricity sources will be available, and certainly taking off the table the lowest cost one for them. We can reduce emissions. We have a balanced approach, and make steady progress. But just setting out some ambitious guidelines will just not make it so. But we'll have serious costs on the economy and on jobs.
Right, and you talk about not only the loss of jobs, but the loss of tax revenues, the jobs that support the people that work in the coal industry. I mean, it really goes quite deeply when you think about that. So, Hal, let me ask you, where can the folks at home go for more information about these new regulations, and what are some of the things they might be able to do to make their voices heard?
Okay, well, that's a great question, and thanks for asking that. They can go to countoncoal.org, and they'll get all kinds of information. In the meantime, they ought to be thinking about engaging their federal representatives, their congressmen, their senators, as well as their local representatives and their governor, and say, hey, let's take a look at this, because we don't have to have higher electricity prices, higher natural gas prices. Let's look at this and see if there's a better way to get the job done. Well,
you bet. And you know what? So folks at home, that's one more time on the website, please, Hal?
Countoncoal.org.
Countoncoal.org. Check it out. Hal Quinn, thank you so much for being a guest today on the Showroom Presents.
Thank you so much.
Don, you call that showing off?
How about the dazzling diamond deals we're showing off at the Showroom on Union? Diamond engagement rings.
Diamond band.
Diamond anniversary.
Diamond fashion.
Diamonds, and more diamonds.
All at a fraction of the pricey stores.
And buy with confidence, because all Showroom diamonds will come with a Gem Lab certificate as requested, guaranteeing natural diamonds of value. Don't forget, we feature GIA certified diamonds.
Showing off great diamonds and great deals every day.
At Airport Plaza Jewelers, the Showroom on Union.